see you.
Good to see you too. It's been how long have we been doing this? For about 10 years?
And the rest.
This is a new project called the JFK Debates Project, and I am the host, Matt Douthit from Dallas, Texas. Right now we have Paul Matthews from over the pond. Where are you from, Paul?
England.
We have been doing this arguing online Facebook for about 10 years now. Now we thought we'd finally see what happens here in a debate. So there is no agenda, there are no rules. What could we possibly be wanting to talk about?
You choose.
Oh, how about you go first? What do you want to start off with?
Well, I'm just saying, as I've always said, is how on earth people still believe in conspiracy after all this years with no credible evidence is completely beyond me. That's where I'll start off.
And of course, we're talking about the JFK assassination. Have you always believed it was Oswald or no?
Nope.
How did you start off?
I started off about 12 years old. I read The Death of a President by William Manchester and found it very interesting, got me into politics, and read that and thought something happened. There was something. I was aware of the large amount of conspiracy books available at that time when I was young, such as David Lifton, Harold Weisberg, et al. And I researched both sides of the argument. I had no preconceptions as to Oswald doing it alone or whether it was the CIA. I had no preconceptions. I just wanted to find out what happened.
And what made you go over the other side of the picket fence, so to speak?
Very good. Evidence.
What was the biggest thing that convinced you?
Evidence.
Like what?
Yeah, the evidence against Oswald, the complete middle finger to the real world that conspiracy gives to reality. It just says, no, we live in a different reality and it just didn't happen that way. I will say it, I've said it before, in 61 years since the assassination, I have yet to see one shred of credible, underline the word credible, evidence that would support a conspiracy.
What's something that made you used to think there was a conspiracy? Like, what's one thing that made you used to think it was a conspiracy?
Well, I didn't per se think it was a conspiracy. It just made me, because it's objective. You cannot look at one side of a historical subject, read one book, and say, yeah, it was a conspiracy. I could have gone out and just read David Lifton's Best Evidence, and that would have convinced anybody, and it does convince a lot of people, that that was the truth. But as we all know, I know you don't, but as I know, that book's a load of bollocks.
I knew him very well, so.
Yeah, but it still doesn't mean the book wasn't crap. But you know, if you were to read one book on just that depicts one side, you're going to be forever stuck in the weeds.
So what do you think
you have to look at a subject from both perspectives. The problem I found, and I'm not getting personal with everybody, but conspiracy is a religious belief. Trying to say to a conspiracy theorist that there was no grassy knoll gunman is like trying to convince a Christian Jesus didn't rise from the dead. It's just ridiculous.
I could go into a whole history about like where the term conspiracy theorist came from. It came from the CIA, but
yeah, we know that. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I don't think the CIA are any fucking angels.
Okay,
by any stretch of the imagination.
I should say for the record, I consider myself a critic or a student, a researcher. I wouldn't consider, to me, a conspiracy theorist is, oh, we didn't land on the moon, Sandy Hook didn't happen, no planes on 9/11. You see, to me, that's the real conspiracy theorists. but
Yeah, fair shout, fair shout.
but like to me, I started off as a lone nutter, so to speak, but I looked more at the evidence, and I think there were three gunmen shooting at Kennedy. There's a we're okay. So just on the evidence, I think there were four shots, and I think that there were three gunmen. I don't.
Okay, but
I'm not one of those people that. Sorry, go on.
no, I'm going to say that's with any allegation, you need the evidence.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
evidence for that isn't there.
So what would you think that my evidence would be that why do you think that I believe in a conspiracy? That there were three shooters?
Well, obviously, the information you read
Mm-hmm.
is you've read both sides of the argument,
Mm-hmm.
and you choose to believe the conspiracy side of the argument.
Or could it be I followed the evidence where it led?
Yeah, you could argue that, but the problem is you need hard evidence to begin with. And for me, two guys, and I know you like Horn and Mantic. I know you respect.
I don't
You have respect, but you respect their work and you agree with them, don't you? Largely.
That's a loaded argument. I know David very well. I've never talked to Horn. I've talked to Horn a tiny bit, but I don't agree with Horn's theory at all. I did not agree with Lifton's theory, even though I knew the guy for several years. Um, I uh, I think David Mantic's work on his measurements on the X-rays do show some sign of some alteration, but that's as far as I will go. But I will concede the fact that the X-rays are 100% legitimate just for debate, but that's a whole other.
Yeah.
But I don't, prostrate myself at them.
No,
Agree with everything they say. No.
no. But the evidence for me for the nature of the wound is just beyond dispute. It's just the head wound was one of entry from the rear.
There was one from the rear, yeah.
There was not one from the front.
That's what I disagree.
Well, again, if you shoot someone from the right side, Matt, it leaves a wound, and there is not a consistent wound with a shot from the right front.
Oh,
consistent with the president.
So let's start getting into evidence now. So I believe the neurosurgeon, who was the only doctor to physically pick up Kennedy's head and examine it. He wasn't rushing around doing things like all the other doctors. I'll concede that for the argument, But the neurosurgeon, picked up his head. His name was Dr. Kent Clark. He looked at it,
Yeah.
And he said, "You know what? This looks like a tangential wound." Now, tangential wound. Now, of course, everyone says, "Oh, if he was shot from the front, it would have blown out the left side." But Kennedy, his head was at an angle. His head was at an angle. So if it comes from the front and it hits his head at an angle, it's not going to blow out the left side. So
no, you're correct in that response, because you could shoot someone from the right temple, yet the bullet could come out the front of the face. There's no hardened rules as to what goes where with bullets.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of that.
All right.
An SAS trooper during the Gulf War was shot in the throat. Bullet traveled down his spine and exited his stomach and activated a grenade in his belt. Yeah. So he was shot in the neck and the bullet come out of his stomach. Bullets do incredibly strange, weird, and wonderful things.
Yeah, they do. I also think we have to look at all of the evidence at hand. So, for instance, where did the neurosurgeon say that the head wound was? He said it was right here, not way low in the back of the head, as a lot of conspiracy believers believe. I'll concede that fact. I believe it was right here. It wasn't the top, it wasn't the side, but I think it was right there. And where he said that this whole part was just blown out. And a lot of people, I think there were, from my count, there were 58 people who said that there was a shot from the front, just one shot. just one
Yeah.
shot, not all the shots. And
Right.
you have the
Right.
people that were elevated on the bridge, and they could see the smoke come out from the grassy knoll at the same time that the shots were fired. So it just got. I mean, I could give a laundry list, but I'm sure you know that that's why I believe that there was a front.
Yeah, but that is it's, you could argue you could bring that into a court. You could bring the eyewitnesses in, but any court would ask the question, did actually any shots come from there? They won't, a jury won't just accept that because 50, I think it was 50 people in Dealey Plaza that day testified to hearing shots from the Knoll area.
From my count, it's 58, but
yeah, okay. It's still quite a few people out of several people. Okay. Now, out of those 50 people, who saw a gunman?
Who saw a gunman? You know what? I don't think anyone saw a gunman on the knoll because it is well hidden.
No, it isn't. You're hidden from the front. You're hidden, Matt. You know as well as I do. You're hidden from the front, and you've got a wide open space behind. Lee Bowers. Let's quote Lee Bowers honestly. Said nothing. He had the whole view of the picket fence behind it throughout the motorcade. Now, people have highlighted Lee Bowers and said he saw a flash and said something unusual had happened. He was referring to the motorcade, within the motorcade. If Lee Bowers saw a man with a weapon behind the picket fence, do you not think his statement would have gone along the lines of, there was a gunman on the knoll and I saw a man fire at the president? I think he would have been a little bit more distinctive in his description than just saying, I saw a flash and something happened, went on in the motorcade. He didn't state that. He didn't say he saw anybody running away. He said he saw two guys that were not interacting with each other there. He said on the morning that cars came into the lot, quote, like he said, they were looking around the place. Yeah. Well, if you're an assassin of the president of the United States, are you trying to tell me they chose the fire location the morning before the assassination? I don't buy that.
I think he
don't buy that.
I think he did see a gunman firing. I think he was scared and he didn't tell them. And we know that from 2, 3 of his friends, and I think even his boss. They came out later and they said, I want to get the quote right, but they said that he saw more than he saw. He saw men shooting, and but he was afraid because I think the quote is, quote, he didn't want his life to be in jeopardy, being the key witness against Lee Harvey Oswald not being the only shooter.
Well, I need to look at that because that's the first time ever I've ever heard that.
The first time you've, oh, come on, you've heard it before.
No, that's the first time I've ever heard he told friends. We all know how his story changed somewhat after he became involved with Martin Lane, as did other people's stories, strangely enough.
I don't think it changed. I think conservatively, he said there was a flash of light or a puff of smoke, commotion on the fence.
No, he said there was a commotion. Said there was a flash of light, and it led me to believe something extraordinary had happened in the motorcade, not behind the picket fence.
Behind the fence.
Yes. No, he was referencing the motorcade, the other side of the fence. Anyway, let's just say, let's just put that into a overall picture of.
I think you're thinking about the Wikipedia page where it says that where it says that he told Lane on camera that no one was behind the picket fence. Is that what you're thinking about?
No, I'm not thinking of Wikipedia. I'm thinking of I'm probably I can't name the source right now, but I'm thinking going on his Warren Commission statement and the statement he gave to the sheriff department that day, or the 23rd, because he gave two statements.
Yeah.
That day, he gave one statement that day, and I believe he gave a statement the following day.
Yeah. But he
made two or three official statements.
He gave his full story on camera to Mark Lane. So, I mean, it's right there. You can see him. He's talking, he's describing it. So it's not like little testimony here, police report here, trying to put them. It's all on film.
Okay, but okay, well, I'll go with you being correct. That still is not evidence of a null shot.
Sure, oh sure it is. He said that there were cars driving around. He said that weren't supposed to be there, and he said
it was a parking lot, Matt, and it wasn't taped off.
But he said, but again, he privately told his friends that he saw people shoot.
But at the moment, that's unverifiable, because that's a he said, she said, dude.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, that's a he said, she said.
All right, let's move on.
If I will still go back to what I said. If a gunman fired from 30 yards away from people with their backs to the knoll, me and you would not be debating it 61 years later. It would have been obvious, apparent to everybody there. There would have been no debate. You see that shot there? There was a guy. Now, here's something that's
you're describing is exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
It isn't.
They all ran up there. They said,
"No, but that's not true, Matt."
Yes,
yes, they did run up there.
Cops after cops said we ran toward a fence where the shot came from. I mean, it's in the record.
Yes,
all there.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that. You're not listening to me. I'm not disputing that. It was not immediately after the assassination. The Lincoln had already left the scene. A policeman went up there. A couple of other people went up to the knoll, and then other people followed. So there wasn't an immediately, the president gets shot, the Lincoln goes, and everybody goes, let's go get the gunman on the grassy knoll. It didn't happen that way. People were, where did it come from? They saw people going up there. They went up the knoll.
Again, we can just look at the films. Everyone's running up there. There was even a woman who was sent from the bushes.
Matt, I'm glad you mentioned the films. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the films. Show me a crowd reaction.
What do you mean a crowd reaction?
To a gunshot.
There are
people. No, the Knicks film. Okay. So it shows it from the other side, doesn't it? The opposite side is Zabruda. We see Zabruda.
Yeah.
We see the people with their backs to the knoll.
You see Malcolm Summers getting down. You see the whole thing.
Okay. Now listen. When the moment the headshot comes, I'm going to demonstrate here. Show me anybody who does this or does this.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Nobody does it.
That's right.
Nobody does it. A firearm has been discharged.
That's right in the Knicks film.
No, it's not.
The guy on the stairs goes like this. Oh yeah.
And where does he run? Where does he run? Up the stairs. He doesn't run. So he runs. So what's he doing? He's running to tackle the gunman.
What does he say the gunman was? Right over his head. That's where he said.
He said the shot came. A gun produces 3, even 4 distinct sounds, Matt.
I think there was one shot from the knoll. There's one shot from the knoll.
Yeah.
He said it came from right over his head. Bill Newman, who's standing right there, right down below, said it came from over his head. So Mr. Zapruder up on the pedestal said it came from right.
No, he didn't.
All these people, it's really incredible. 58. No. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, but Matt, you're obviously highlighting these people because it's what you want to hear.
What I want to no. It's what they said. I'm dealing with the cards that I'm given.
Yeah, okay. But if we're talking about majority of eyewitnesses, the majority heard 3 shots. Now, in order for there to have been a null shot that hit the president, there needed to have been a corresponding wound to the president. There wasn't.
I think there was. So, like, going back to the neurologist, I think when he looked at the head, and I think this is a tangential wound, and
Yeah.
if from the null,
Yeah.
you can make a tangential wound when the head's like this and it goes in like this. So, is there an entry wound here in
No.
the front? It could have been blown away when it hit. There are some people who saw a wound there. That's questionable. I will concede that, but there's just so much more evidence than that. So
No.
I said the people
No.
on the bridge ran right over. They said there's gunshots over there. Go, go, go. So they ran over there. They're tripping over each other, and it took them about 2.5 minutes to get there because it was just covered with cars. They get there, and what do they find? Nothing. No, they find fresh footprints.
It's a parking lot.
Cigarette butts, but no. They found fresh footprints, cigarette butts, exactly where that puff of smoke and that flash of light was seen. Exactly where. And
So
Josiah
this
Thompson
gunman left footprints, and he left possibly his saliva samples and his fingerprints on cigarette butts. And this was a CIA gunman.
I never said no.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
No, I don't know. No, I'm saying it's a big coincidence. And Josiah Thompson, first generation researcher, he told one of them, he said, I want you to stand right where you found the footprints. I'm going to go over here across the street to Mary Mormon. I'm going to take a picture. And wow, lo and behold, there's a shape in the Mormon, not the badge man, but it's called the anomalous shape. Yes. And it's the exact
not credible.
It's at the exact same spot where those cigarette butts and footprints were found.
It's
this
not,
is day one
it
evidence.
isn't credible. You couldn't submit that as evidence.
Oh, you absolutely could.
No, you couldn't.
Oh, yeah. So it's a coincidence. So it's a coincidence that
it's a blob. It's a black blob.
It's not there in later photos.
You cannot distinctively see, you cannot distinctively see a gunman.
I'm not saying it's a gunman. I'm saying it's a person.
It's a person.
I believe it's a gunman, but it's a person.
Right. Okay.
Well, you can see that it's a person because it's not there in later photos.
Okay. But you see, this is where
the person.
I'm not being funny, but this is where the cross-examination stops for the CT brigade, because you guys think, oh, well, eyewitnesses heard or thought they heard shots from the knoll. Therefore, I'm not saying to so many CTs that is proof positive a shot came from the knoll. It isn't. It isn't
the only reason. I can throw that out, and I still have a lot of evidence.
I will still go back to the fact there is no medical evidence of a front shot.
Oh, sure there is. Oh, absolutely.
No.
I've talked to almost everyone in that autopsy room. They all said they described the same thing that the neurosurgeon did. It's absolutely incredible. If you throw out all the Dallas doctors, you still have all the people in the morgue who saw the exact same wound. And let's not forget, the Warren Commission did tests. They fired at skulls, and it blew the face out. It blew the face out.
For a start, the Warren Commission tests were completely invalid.
No.
Yes, they were.
They
were fired at point blank range, and they were fired. Yes, they were. They were fired. The same as the test to try and determine how deformed the bullet should be. They fired it at point blank range into various mediums, such as wood, such as even leather, and they came out with different results. So I will still go back to what I say. If you shoot someone from the right front, the wound is different.
It depends if it's a tangent.
In this case, there is no credible medical evidence of a front shot.
Sure it is. Oh, sure it is. But going back to what we were just talking about,
listen, I'm not discrediting Kemp Clark as a neurosurgeon. I'm not discrediting any of the Parkland doctors. I never have done. They went above the call of duty that day to save the president. Kudos to them. What I am saying is they did not dissect the president's wounds. Their observations, Matt, were visual.
No, it's what they saw.
That's what I said. Their observations were visual.
Tears of amazement as you are conceding so much more than I would have ever thought. Who's this nice guy and who's that nasty guy on Facebook who's always be more like this? You're conceding way much.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not conceding anything. Okay, this is the situation, right? Okay, this is the situation. All right, now you'll dispute it. I can dispute it. JFK largely was flat on his back at Parkland.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had, for the sake of the argument, he had, as in the Zapruder film, this bloody portion of his head gone, possibly with the wound tapering back to here.
Tears of amazement as you are conceding that.
No, I've never denied this, Matt. But what I am saying is,
a lot of others do.
He was flat on his back, and there is a thing called gravity. And when you've got shredded brain matter, shredded scalp, shredded bone, shredded brain, and it's hanging back, if you're running round an individual, that wound looks like the back of the head's gone. It looks like the back of the head is gone, but the back of the head was not gone. We do not see it unless we concede that the films taken that day were altered fate, because no film shows the rear of the president's head being shot out. The autopsy and the medical evidence shows that the rear of the head, although heavily fractured at the impact point of the bullet, but it wasn't shredded. And are we to believe that emergency medical staff, if the rear of the head here, as has been claimed, was gone and his brain was hanging out, would emergency medical staff have let him lie flat on that wound with his brain exposed, his bone exposed, massive amount of blood coming out of that wound? And don't forget, because they didn't go into the wounds in any detail, they missed one wound entirely. Not one Parkland doctor reported saying there was an entrance wound to the president's back. They were not examining what fired from what rooftop, from where the bullet came in. Of course, they would have stood there and think, well, where do you think the bullet came in afterwards? They'd have all had a discussion. They were human beings. Of course they were. But Theron Ward tilted the rear of the head also and claimed to see a small hole of entrance in the back of the head, at the top of the head. So you've got what people saw and you've got what actually happened. That is why we have autopsies.
Gosh, you know what? After everything you said, I don't know. I guess I'm completely wrong. Okay, you win. Oh, wait a minute. That's not how this works.
No. Listen, I'm not ego. It's not about winning.
That's not how this works. Okay.
No.
Here we go. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got you that. Yeah.
All right.
Now look. So visualize for a minute. Use a bit of imagination. Right?
Look how easy you can see it in the back of his head. Look at that. Gosh. Look at that.
What you can see the occipital protuberance from there, can you? You can't.
I didn't say the occipital protuberance was.
No, but you can't see the rear of the head.
Look at that. Yeah. You can see the rear of the head. Look at that. What are you guys always talking about? You can't see the rear of the head. Look at this. This is from a textbook. Look at this. It's so simple.
Matt, that was, for a start, he was pretty much flat. That was not under his neck. Come on.
Okay, then what?
A hospital gurney.
Okay, what about that? Look at that. Okay, look at that. You can easily see a wound exactly where you look.
Matt, that's not the rear of the
What are
head
we
blown
doing here?
out,
Look
is
how
it?
easy it is.
It's where the wound was, which was about there.
I agree.
The
I agree.
conspiracy, the conspiracy move. Hang on, the conspiracy movement. The conspiracy movement, Matt says, look, this was gone.
They
This
say the
whole,
right. No,
this whole.
they say this was gone, which is incorrect. It was exactly
No,
where you had. It was exactly where you had it. So
yeah,
you can easily see a wound in the back of the head, and you can see it in the zapruder film. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that one in the back of the head in the
no,
zapruder.
that's
Now the
not.
back of, it's in
That's
shadow most of
wow.
the film. Look at this. It's really incredible. You slow it down, one frame, next frame, and look at that. There's the wound in the back of the head. It's
No,
extending exactly how you
no,
said.
it's not distinctive enough.
Oh, sure it is. Look at that.
No,
There's
it isn't.
shoulder.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Bear with me, Matt. Bear with me. If we see the head, I assume just to the left of the blur, the pink blur is the ear. Yeah.
Sure, the ear is like right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's behind his
Yeah,
ear.
look. There's the ear, right?
Yep.
There's the head. That is the rear of the head. The wound goes back exactly as the autopsy states, which is about here. My whole argument, yeah, but my whole argument, Matt, is this was intact.
Yeah, I agree.
So many conspiracy theories say, oh, the rear of the head was gone. It wasn't.
Well, when they say rear of the head, they really mean like where Dr. Crenshaw and everyone put right here, which I concede it was not, and Pat Spears the one who changed my mind on that. It was not low down here. It was exactly where you said it, and that's where the autopsy report places it. And it's really and we even see it, the head wound, the back of the head is gone in the Mormon photo. It's really incredible.
That's not distinctive enough, Matt.
Oh, sure it is. Look, there's the crater right there.
That's not distinctive enough, Matt. I've got no idea of context as to where you've taken that. No, I can't agree with that, Matt.
Okay. But I think I've made my point that so amazingly we're in agreement of where the head wound is, and I think that was from a tangential shot.
Okay.
From the front. But I also agree there was a second headshot that hit him in the occipital protuberance back there. So we are in agreement on that. So if you really think about it, we don't have vastly different opinions. I just think there was one extra shot. I mean, okay, yeah, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I can only keep repeating that the evidence for a front shot isn't there.
I just laid out the whole thing. What about Kennedy's two aides in the follow-up car, just feet behind him? They said there were shots that came from the null. What about that? And these are World War II veterans. Are they wrong?
Yeah. No. Hang on a minute. You've just brought up a brilliant point, and another point that completely kicks the conspiracy theorists in the balls, right?
Oh, you're going to say how they originally testified that it was, and then later what?
No.
All right. Sorry, go on.
This is a tangent, but it's an important one.
Okay, yeah, go on.
For years, conspiracy theorists have stated important eyewitnesses that claimed the shots fired from elsewhere were ignored by the Warren Commission. Yeah, it is an accusation the conspiracy community makes. They say the Warren Commission ignored important eyewitnesses, and they ignored important eyewitnesses reporting the shots from elsewhere. Yeah, is that a fair comment?
Ignoring shot. Well, again, if you look at their own evidence, you have almost 50 plus people that said it. So they didn't cover up the amount of where shots came from. I think they failed to take lots of testimonies from other important witnesses, particular a lot of medical witnesses and other witnesses like Mrs. Tippett and stuff like that. But
all right, yeah, okay, fair enough. But my point was the point that I was trying to make was in the Warren Commission, you have an individual who states the shots came from the right of the president from the Pagoda stroke garden area. He didn't see the gunman, but he thought that was the direction.
Who?
And do you know who said that?
Who?
Forrest Sorrells.
Is he on the list? Let me look to see. Yeah.
So you've got a member of the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Who people? Said, no, but hang on. Who state? Who state?
Yep.
Members of the conspiracy community state, oh, well, all eyewitnesses were ignored and even accused the Secret Service of being involved. And yet here we have on public record a member of the Secret Service saying, I thought the shots came from the null. So that's, do you get what I'm saying? That's a bit of a contradiction.
It's really incredible. Secret Service agents, cops, all these high officials, even the chief of police said there was a shot from the null. It's very incredible. But the thing is, why would they leave all of that in the open in the files? Because, as Alan Dulles said, people don't read. But they had no idea that critics would actually go to the archives, read this stuff, and say, oh my gosh, there's a lot more than just this 800-page report. And they left out a whole lot. And we want the truth.
Well, yeah, you could say that, or you could just simply say, as a matter of fairness, the Warren Commission wanted to get everybody's opinions.
No, they didn't want to get everyone's opinions. There were many witnesses, like the closest witness, Mary Moorman, who was never called to testify, Bill Newman, who didn't testify, and also all the people that they buried. If you look at the list I have of all 58 witnesses, they're in like volume 22, pages 800 something. So I think that's what critics are talking about.
Yeah.
In that case.
Yeah, you could argue that's a fair comment.
Yeah, so that's I think that's what critics are talking about.
Yeah. Okay, but I still, I will still stand by what I said in that many people do say that it just ignored them, when there are lots of eyewitnesses on record that were not ignored, where they say, we thought the shots came from.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you saying from?
I can still show conspiracy, even if it was all buried or anyway. So,
yeah.
But, so do you think that all those 58 people are wrong? Because really,
yeah.
Okay.
Because Matt, the problem is you've got what you're not taking into account is acoustics. You're not taking into account acoustics.
I think I know what you're going to say, but say it.
A gunshot can produce 4 sounds. No, it's fact. A gunshot can produce 4 separate sounds.
No, not. You see, I think this is what's called a hasty generalization. Like,
no, it's not.
You can find one example of where that can happen, and you say, "Oh, well, it can apply." No, that's a hasty generalization fallacy.
Matt, listen. I can show you. Go on YouTube, okay? Watch, seriously, mate. Watch U.S. service personnel in action in Iraq. Watch British service personnel in action in Afghanistan in urban environments. Yeah. There's gunshots coming from all around, and they're going, the guy's over there. No, he's not. He's over there. No, he's not. He's over there.
I don't think it. Well, first of all, those are totally different weapons and totally different circumstances.
No, it's not. It's not. It proves that in an urban environment with reverberations, hearing shots coming from a direction is not proof positive that somebody is actually firing from that location. I've served in the forces, mate. I've seen and heard it with my own ears. Okay, and people, listen, people saying, I thought the shots came from over there. That does not mean a shot was fired from over there.
Even if
it's not proof positive that a shot was fired from over there. The eyewitnesses said, I thought the shots came from behind that picket fence. Okay. That's an ear witness. You're in a semi-urban environment. You have acoustics, the 4 distinct acoustic sounds that a shot can produce. Oswald was high up, so that spread the sound waves. It's just, there's no physical evidence of a null shot.
I just laid out the whole thing. Oh,
You didn't.
I laid out the whole thing. I laid out the physical evidence.
No, you
laid out
didn't. You went.
medical evidence.
You
Okay.
went through eyewitnesses only.
Do you think the X-rays are legitimate?
Why wouldn't they be?
Okay, good. Okay, so are you familiar with Dr. Michael Chesser?
I'm not familiar with him. I have heard of his name.
You
Yes,
should look
I
him up.
can't say I'm familiar with him.
Okay, he examined the original X-ray,
Yeah.
and he found a frontal entry on the X-rays that no one saw before. It's really incredible, and it connects to the dust-like metal fragments in the head. And it starts here, and they get bigger as they go back. And
Right. Where's the exit wound?
What I just told you, the exit wound was right here. So it enters here at like a tangent. We get these fragments in the head. They're teeny tiny at the entry site, and they get bigger and bigger as they go back.
I get what you're saying.
As it exits back here, and
It would
that's
have a cone effect.
exactly. And that, and as someone once said, that's something that you can't erase. So that's
No.
This was 2015, so 9 years ago. Finally, after an independent person, not a government person, studied the X-ray, he found where the entry wound was, and it all connects. So that's,
and he's a pathologist.
No, he's not a pathologist. You don't have to be you don't have to be a pathologist.
Yes, you do.
You don't have you don't have to be a pathologist.
Matt, if you were rewiring your house, you would not get a plumber to do it.
That is a fallacy. You don't need.
It's the truth. If you want the cause of death, mate, you don't look at a military historian. You look at a pathologist.
That is a
hang on, any court or any inquiry, who do you think they're going to listen to? A pathologist or just a doctor saying, well, I allege that this is a frontal entrance wound?
That is a credentials fallacy. Just because you don't have this degree doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. No,
he wouldn't get into a court of law. A court of law would
Yes, it was. They had a mock trial, and it was admitted.
A court of law would ask for a qualified person to speak.
What?
A court of law would ask for a qualified person to speak. If you had the prosecution, you would have the pathologist to present the evidence for the prosecution. The defense may bring in another pathologist to dispute the findings of that first pathologist. But you're not just going to get some ER doctor saying, or whatever, saying, well, I've done a bit of study, and to me, it's a frontal headshot. All you're going to do is pull up the autopsy report and say, well, the autopsy report found there was no frontal headshot.
Again.
And in this case, not only do you have 3 pathologists who conducted the original autopsy, you've got 17 pathologists that agree with the cause of death. That's slam dunk, dude.
No, it's not slam dunk.
It is slam dunk.
No, did you see my whole post about it? I made a whole post about all those doctors and how they were. You should really look up Gary Aguilar's.
I've watched a lot. Yeah, I have. I've watched some Gary Aguilar videos.
His article, how 5 investigations got it wrong. It's very amazing how they missed all this stuff that's just blatantly.
Yeah, but what's the likelihood? He's right. Gary Aguilar is right. And 5 investigations were wrong. I'd go with the 5 investigations than some bloke criticizing it.
No, this is not about right and wrong. This is about.
It is.
This is about dealing. This is about dealing. Can't you just ignore what people have said and just deal with what you have? Can you just deal with what you have? This has
I'm
no,
dealing with what I have. I'm dealing with the evidence, the
no,
physical evidence we have,
you're doing
not
an
just
authority
some,
about
not just some fringe doctor saying, "Oh,
is that
right, okay. Where's the entrance wound
just
for
told
this front shot?
how much time do you got? I told you we did this already. We did.
No, we haven't. Where's the front entrance wound?
He said, "Oh, according to Dr. Chester, it was about right here. So if he's angled at this, and the null is it hits him here.
Yeah,
Now this is assuming that so it tangentially blows this out.
no,
You agreed before. Oh, you
no,
agreed before.
no, I didn't.
Again,
No,
it could have been blown away. The entry wound could have been blown away with the skull fragments.
right. But the problem
It
is,
could have been pronounced and hidden in the hairline. They're just things that we don't
yeah,
know.
but Matt, this
Add
is
it
it.
together.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your point. But you're saying it could have, it could have, it could have, it could have,
Yes,
it could have,
that's what we
but
do
there's
in
no
science.
evidence for it. Where's the internal cratering on the portions of the bone of the entrance of this shot? Where's the damage to the left upper and lower hemisphere of the
Just
brain
I
or the
explained
skull?
I
You do
expl
not.
I
No, you
explained the
didn't,
whole
Matt.
left thing because it's a tangential. Okay, okay.
But you're speculating on a wound that didn't occur. That's my
That's what
point.
we do in science. We speculate and we come to the best
Yeah,
possible answer.
yeah,
We
but
can't do
mate, you can have an
argument
opinion.
from authority. Oh, this person said we can't know. Let's deal with the cards that we have. I don't know why I
Yeah,
have.
the card. Yeah, but the cards that we have are the opinions of 17 pathologists.
No, what they're saying is this card. What I'm saying is this card and also this card.
No,
Yes, that's
you're
exactly
you're you're
right.
you're disagreeing with the opinion of 17 pathologists.
Again, this
Nothing
is
to
an
do with
argument.
cards.
This is an argument from authority. You don't understand. We have
No,
to
you're
deal with
you're
what
just
we have.
Matt, you're disrespecting and disbelieving it because it comes from official sources.
No,
Simple as that.
no. That's not at
So
all. That's
how,
not
how
what
many
happened.
times how many times are 17 pathologists wrong in your book?
How much time are you
It,
have?
it
How
doesn't happen very often, does
look,
it?
they all
Even if
it's
half of them are wrong.
you act like they're one big happy family. They're all independent doctors. They have no ties. No, these were government doctors, and they signed on. But it's really incredible. If you look in their backgrounds, they believed the official story before they joined those investigations. It's really incredible.
No,
Look at
no,
their back. Yes,
no,
it is absolutely
no,
Weck.
no. The
Dr. Weck wasn't supposed to be
HSCA,
on there.
read the HSCA, they tore the original autopsy to shreds. They
That's
criticised it
yeah,
to hell.
yeah.
But what did they conclude? The same thing.
Yes, I
The
agree with
president
them. There was
died
a
of
shot.
that
No,
wound.
did you? Did you? I don't think you're understanding me. I said I agree that there was a rear shot. I agree. I
Yeah, I know
agree
you
with them.
do,
They're
but
right. But
you're also claiming of a front shot, which
the
there's no
reason
evidence.
why there's no evidence, there's not much evidence left of a frontal shot was because that was the first of two headshots. The second headshot from the rear destroyed most of the forensic evidence in the head of that frontal shot. So there's not going to be much left, but we do have that fragment trail and we do have this large hole in the head that we can connect the dots to. So there's not much. So that's why there's not much forensic evidence left of the frontal headshot. That's why. But I can give you a long paragraph answer on why those 17 doctors came to the conclusion that they did. So anyway, the thing is, it's very incredible. None of their reports. You say all these 17 doctors. Find me anywhere in their report where they mention the words grassy knoll, null, or fence. They're not there. It's very incredible. The main theory that people wanted the government to investigate was there a frontal shot from the fence? And
Matt,
that words not
Matt,
in the report.
Matt, okay, yeah, okay.
It's really incredible.
No, it's not, because listen, you're forgetting something, right?
Tell me what?
The HSCA, yeah, the HSCA, that was formed, I think, mostly on public opinion. It was
Oh
formed
yeah,
on the showing of the Zapruder film. People saw the film and thought, hang the fuck on a minute. The president's head is going back and to the left, yet we're told he's shot from the rear. That caused outcry,
yeah,
and rightly so, because to the uninformed, you look at it and think, wow, that looks like he's been shot from the right front. Yeah,
yep.
that I will concede. But you have to look at the evidence and realize that didn't happen.
What are you gonna? Are you gonna go jet effect or neuromuscular theory? But anyway, I gotta.
Matt,
I gotta.
no, I'm not going to state what happened. I'm going to state that simply the president was shot from behind and only from behind. If if
Okay,
if,
that's
if
fine.
people want to say
Cool.
it was
Cool.
a neuromuscular reaction, jet effect, I think that's bollocks.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the jet
oh,
effect is, yeah, no, that doesn't ring true to me.
yeah, because you can't have a big hole in the head in a jet effect. It's stupid.
No,
Wait, here's
even the pressure of the parietal and occipital bones being dislodged from the side of the head would not push a human head over like that. I do not believe that for one instant.
again tears of amazement as this low nutter is conceding so much. Tears of amazement.
But what I do
What happened
concede is,
is they know we're right. They know we're right. It's like when Tucker. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They know that they don't. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's like when Tucker Carlson went to debate with Cenk Uygur and he didn't have his Fox News audience debate. And he was like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you got a good point there. Come on. You have to know that. I don't want to say deep down, but you have to know that that I have a case or somewhat of a case.
you
And
have a circumstantial case. I will give you that.
okay, okay. You
Yeah.
see, those again, those 2017 pathologists, they just looked at the back of the head photo, saw saw a seemingly intact back of the head, and concluded no frontal shot. But had they actually investigated, they would have found that actually that the hand in the photo is reconstructing the head by pulling the scalp forward and covering the big hole in the head. And the same, so
Right.
had
Okay.
they shown that, had
Now you raise this picture. Yeah. And I know
yeah,
the picture you're talking about, the surgeon's hand, the hole there. Yeah.
yes,
Right. Now, let's just examine that.
they just looked at,
No, hang on. Let's examine that picture. CTs have said that that portion of the head has been blown out. As we can see clearly in that picture, the rear of the scalp is intact.
because it's being
Hang
reconstructed.
on. The fractures are underneath the skin. The skin is holding it together. Yes?
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
No. So, yes, there could have been a flap that came back and exposed a hole. But that was not because the that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one.
So
As you can see.
yeah,
But no, mate, you're not addressing the point. As you can see, the scalp is intact.
yeah.
There are no lacerations to the skin. There
Because,
is no boom. Now, the
because,
surgeon clearly, hang on, hear me out,
okay,
is clearly holding, like you say, a flap. Yeah?
yeah.
He's clearly holding a flap of skin and scalp in position so you can see the entrance wound. Yeah?
Okay, can I talk now? Okay, good.
Yeah, good.
The pathologist said there was no scalp missing. There was no scalp missing. There were lacerations and tears, but he said there was no scalp, taken away
Yeah,
in the bullet
yeah.
stuff. So all they're doing is they're just putting the head back together. And again, those 17 pathologists just looked at this photo and said, "Oh, there's no blowout in the back of the head, so there must have been a shot." That's all they did. That's all they did. They again, they didn't have. Where is again? Where's Lee Bowers mentioned in their report? Where is everything that we talked about mentioned in their report? You know what they said about the Mary Morton photograph? Oh, it's too grainy for any examination. Are you kidding me? So Josiah Thompson can figure this out, just like we said, but the government investigation can't. This is ridiculous. This is
Matt,
what we did. We wanted
Matt,
another investigation,
Matt,
and this is what we
the
got.
Mormon picture original is no bigger than that.
Yes.
How the hell, with a grain Polaroid camera, can you pick out a grassy knoll gunman?
I didn't say there was.
I will.
I said there was a person. There was a
Yeah,
person. You can see the top half of a person. It's very incredible. And this is something that lone nutters don't like to bring up. This is not in any of their books. Look at this. Right there. There's the guy.
Let me
Okay.
see.
So okay.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just get it up on big screen. Right. Okay. Now, are you seriously telling me, Matt, or anybody else, that is a man?
Yes. Here
You're
is
telling me that's a man?
yes, here is it's a person because look, it is not there in later photos. So it was a person. And again, like I said, Josiah Thompson said, stand where you saw the puff of smoke and the cigarette butt and where the cigarette butts were. I'm going to go across the street, recreate this picture. And wow, look at that. He's standing in the exact same damn spot. Look at that. And it's not there in later photos. It has to be a person. You have to concede that. Look at that.
No, I don't have to concede that. It's not distinctive enough to show it's a person, Matt.
I think it's the top half of a person. It's not okay. So where'd it go? What is it? It has to be a person. That's where the again, you can read right there.
Mate, you're really dude, you're really clutching at straws if you're trying to produce that as evidence of a gunman. It isn't.
I'm saying, look, this is where
You're saying there's someone
shots
there.
were heard.
I respect that. But Bowers said he saw two people behind the fence, did he not?
Yes.
That were not interactive. That were one was at one end and the other one was at the other end of the fence.
A what?
They
Say it
weren't.
again?
One was at one end, if I recall, and the other one was. They were not interacting with each other. They were independent of each other. They were not acting in unison.
Look, and it's really incredible. So it's really incredible. And this is a good quote from Mark Lane. Look at this. He says, I do believe that when at least 7 witnesses stated that there was a puff of smoke on the knoll at the instant the shots were fired, and 58 persons state they heard shots coming from that direction, it is reasonable to infer that the puff may have come from a gun fired at the president. And it's at the exact same spot right here. And look, even if we throw that out, it's right. Look,
Matt, you're not following the argument through. You're not walking it through.
It all adds up. Everything.
No, you're not walking it through.
Witnesses, the eyewitnesses who saw the smoke, the flash of light, where the cigarette butts were found, where there's a shape right here that's not there later. It all adds up. And you know what? It's not just in this picture, it is in the Nix film. Look at that. The exact same spot. There's a person behind the fence.
That would not add up to compelling evidence in an inquiry or a court of law.
So there just happens to be, okay, so let's think about this logically. There just happens to be a shape where everyone said they heard a shot, saw smoke.
But you're accepting that as almost proof positive, and it isn't.
No, I'm just saying this is what we have. This is the evidence that's there.
Matt, you could say that about anybody that day. You could just, just people saying, well, look at that. Jim Garrison did the same thing. He looked at photographs of the knoll and said, "Oh, there's a gunman. There's a gunman. There's a gunman."
I don't care about Jim Garrison.
No, but
This
you
is
can look at it. That the photo you showed me is not clear, nor is it credible enough to determine it's a person.
so it's not there
And
later.
even if it is even if it is a person, it is no means proof that that individual was involved in nefarious activity.
You have to put everything together. Look, it's not there in later pictures. That had to have been a person. This thing right here, this thing right here where the arrows is, that's a fixed object. That's the a signal, that's a signal tower. This right here. And this is where the shape is. And look, it's later gone. It's not there. You have to put everything together. It's everything.
Yeah, but you're putting circumstantial shaky evidence and trying to put a case for someone firing a shot, and it's not working.
Again, if
The medical evidence is just not there of a shot from the knoll.
what would take you to convince this all adds up to any
Evidence.
is evidence.
Credible evidence.
Look, this is the shooter right there. It's it's really incredible. We have a photo of the shooter. It's really incredible. Look at
Oh, you said it yourself. He's the shooter. So you're saying he's the shooter now.
Putting
You
everything.
changed your mind from being a person behind the knoll to he's being the shooter.
That's my
You're saying
personal.
we have a photo of the shooter
That's my
now.
personal opinion.
Come on.
That's
exactly. That's your personal opinion.
That's my
dude.
personal opinion.
You've gone from I'm not saying he's a shooter to saying we have a photograph of the shooter.
If this did not, if everything I just showed you did not exist, sure, I would say there's hardly any evidence of a no shooter. Let's say there was only one person that saw a puff of smoke. Let's say there were 5 people. Oh, screw it. Let's say there was no people who saw, all this stuff. Let's say there was no photos of any of this. Everything is just right. None of that. None of that. None of all of this. Then I would say, yeah, there's no credible evidence of a no shooter. But again, this is the stack that we're dealt with. This is the deck that we're handed. This is what we're handed.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. You play the cards that you dealt with. You make informed opinions.
Yes,
on what we know. Yeah, okay.
This isn't people just making shit up because oh, let's see what cool theory we can. But no, this is all in the official record. But anyway, we've beat this to death. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or
you'll be here all day?
what?
We'll be here all day. You name it. What else? I mean, another thing, the single bullet.
Oh shit! I was just thinking about. We didn't talk about the single bullet. Yeah. The Discovery Channel, or the Disco Channel, as my friend.
Yeah, we call it the Disco Channel here as well.
No, but they actually did a good one on this, sort of. But it's really incredible. They built these human-like torsos with skin and muscle and bones and organs, and they got the dimensions of Kennedy and Connolly, and they built this stage and wireframes of the limo, and they had them all right. They put them in the exact same position. They got the same kind of ammunition. They got the same kind of rifle. They got the same angle. Awesome. They reenacted everything to a T. Awesome. Loving it. Finally, it's here. And what happened? It hit Kennedy exactly where the measurements placed it, and it blew out his chest, not his neck. And they got it and people always say, and the bullet tumbled, and it made a wound that was twice as big as Connolly, and it didn't break one rib, it broke 2 ribs. And the bullet was pristine? No, it was bent in half. So in my mind, in 2004, the single bullet theory was debunked. Counterpoint.
Go. No, it wasn't debunked.
I just laid out the whole thing.
You're quoting one, Matt. You're quoting one Discovery Channel again. we can reference the single bullet by the wounds to both men alone, period.
Okay, how so? How so? Go on. I can't wait for this. Go on.
How so?
How so? Yeah.
Because, okay, well, let me explain to you. Why is it conspiracy authors dishonestly, through either dishonesty, lack of research, or flat out lies, cannot put the President of the United States and Governor Connolly sat in a car in correct positions as they were sat that day?
That's not
Why is that?
That's not the
You
point.
know,
It doesn't.
it is exactly the point. Don't swerve it. Don't swerve it.
Okay, it's
No,
adorable.
no.
It's
I will tell you why. Because it throws the bullet out of sync, and there you go. Oh, we have the magic bullet. This is what the Warren Commission is trying to tell you happened. Bullshit. Bullshit. Connolly was 6 inches inboard of the president. He was 3 inches lower down. The president had a lever by his right hand side where he could have raised his seat a further 8 inches. You follow the wounds, it's one bullet. And if people think a Full Metal Jacket military bullet didn't do exactly what it was designed to do, then they need their heads examined.
You know what? Even if I concede everything you just said, we still have a conspiracy. I don't care if the single bullet theory is possible or whatever. It's not. But even if I concede it,
We don't.
That still does not mean
we don't have a conspiracy, because the arguments and the usual CT arguments put forward are just debunked and invalid.
It doesn't matter.
The single bullet you can reference with the wounds. And we're going to the Parkland doctors. Dr. Shires and Dr. Gregory said it looked like the bullet had passed through something first before it entered the governor's right armpit.
Again, even if I concede everything you just I made a 5-hour video with Pat Spear where we went through everything. Have you watched it? Hello?
You keep breaking up. Sorry, dude.
I said I an entire 5-hour video with Pat Spear where 5 hours. It's longer than the freaking 10 Commandments movie, okay? Okay, where we went through all of this, every single thing that you mentioned, and much more. Have you watched our video?
No.
You should. It is for free. Again, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I'm not some crazy conspiracy guy. You know, Vincent Bugliosi says that you people are waving money for our autographs. No, I'm not that. It's all online for free. I really want you to watch it.
I will watch it, because this is something that is the God's honest truth, and you're going to laugh at me, and I know you are.
We covered everything we said. We covered.
I've lost the complete. I have read more conspiracy literature than I have anything official.
Yeah, I have two. I have two.
You know, so I'm not
a contest.
No. Not a contest, but I'm just trying to make the point that I have been objective. Yeah.
I know all.
Is that a fair point?
Yes, I know, but again,
I've been objective.
I know all the low nut arguments. I used to be one. I know all of them. I still have a master 50-page list of all these talking points.
And no, I do not believe everything the government tells me either. Yeah. My government are a lying bunch of bastards. No disrespect to America, because I've got a lot of American friends and I like America, but your government are a lying bunch of bastards as well. Okay. Yep. So I've got no love of any government. But on the other side, to be fair, I do not think that this was a state-sponsored job or a government job to get rid of Kennedy. What? Listen,
That's a whole other argument.
someone said to me something
It's a whole other
years ago, yeah, and it's so true. If you wanted JFK out the way, right, you're a rogue element of the CIA, FBI, military industrial complex, and you needed Kennedy out of the way for whatever reason,
Yeah, why didn't they poison his
what
food?
would you do? Actively plan to kill him, or would you make a phone call?
I think that both happened. I think obviously a phone call. Someone had to call someone. There's a phone call.
No. Yeah, you're missing my point. You're missing my point.
Okay, say it again.
Why would you go down in history as murdering your own president, run the risk of getting the death penalty for murder and for treason if you were caught, public disgrace for the CIA forever and its organization if it ever got out.
Everything
hang on.
happened.
Public disgrace for the FBI as well if you were conspiring to kill him. Or would you just simply think, hang on, J. Edgar Hoover owes me a favor? Pick the phone up and say, Edgar, that 600-page file you've got on JFK on all his sexual activities, where he slept with potential German spies during World War II, slept with potential Russian spies via his connections with the mafia, just leak that out into the press, would you, Edgar? JFK out of office, disgraced permanently without having to murder him. That would be the far easier and the far less risky option to take than to set up a ridiculous public execution where you needed the Warren Commission, you needed the entire structure of the United States to cover the lie. It doesn't. Reality, intelligence agencies, mate, ain't got successful by being stupid. Right. And to think they did this public execution, it basically, you're saying, well, the CIA is stupid. And then to send in Jack Ruby to kill the patsy.
That's also a whole other topic. But
yeah, but to do it, to not only, if you were a conspirator, to send him live on national television, the basement of a police station where he's going to get caught, and you send in a new individual who is a notorious blabbermouth and who shoots Oswald, pulling the trigger with his middle finger. That's some mafia hitman, dude. That's some CIA hitman.
It's
really, some CIA plan, dude.
You know what's really incredible? Everything you just said could be right, but the evidence is still here. It's all still here.
It isn't.
And I'm dealing, yes, everything. Okay, I hypothetically concede everything you just say, but we still have the evidence that Oswald did not pull the trigger. All right. I think we only have a minute. We only have a minute left.
Don't have the evidence. You've got every piece of evidence against Oswald bar DNA.
We have a minute left on the call, unless you want to do another one. But do you think we've gone too long, or?
It's entirely up to you. Yeah, I've got a few things to do, but on a personal level, it's been nice to chat.
It's been nice chatting with you. We got less than a minute left on the free trial. All right. Hey, it's been great. All right. I'll let you have the final word there. Just shows what a gentleman I am. Or sometimes can be. Or sometimes can be. Hey, you.
Yeah. I don't know if you got that. On a personal level, it's been nice to finally chat.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. Hey,
I think now we can agree to be civilized.
Oh, absolutely. Let's all totally.
I'm man enough to apologize. I sent you a comment. I called you scum. I apologize for that.
Apology accepted. We got less than a minute, so
But look, I'm willing to debate with anybody rationally, maturely, and sensibly with no